everybody. How are you? My name is Brandon Jones. I'm the editor-in-chief of GameTrailers.com. Let's all go to the trailers. What do you say, Kyle? You wanna?
Yes.
What do you say, Dan? You wanna?
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to watch a trailer that we have never seen before. It is for the Havoc DLC pack for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And as I mentioned before in part one, I saw a picture of John Malkovich, and that sealed the deal. And we're going to talk about other trailers that I liked from the past couple weeks or want to chat about. But John Malkovich, let's get into it.
Drug reference. Well.
Yes. Cuts.
Fast,
Grenades, cuts.
But
Good trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Glenn Schofield.
These guys are great.
These are good maps.
That's sound design, man. That's so good in the trailers. Like, all those hits. That stuff just doesn't come prepackaged, you know? Like...
So I like that Glenn came out and like capped up everything we're about to see. So now we know exactly what we're gonna watch right now.
What do you think about these guys talking about it as opposed to like a narrator or just titles and stuff?
I mean, I think it's okay. I feel like their shots are a little overproduced compared to, you know, like when we were just talking about something that's kind of like half baked. It's like, do we need these like slow pan tracking shots when they're in the office?
Yeah, that's what I needed, a slow pan of The Legend of Zelda, and then that would have made it cool. But it's kind of cool that they're pointing out, you know, personal things, kind of like the reasons why they like it, you know, like, oh, once you're getting into this map, check this thing out because I dig it, and that's, you know, kind of, you know, what we were putting into that map.
And it helps that everything they're showing off is pretty cool.
It's got your classic high energy Call of Duty, you know, fast cuts, lots of great clips, going in and out of third person, first person.
Yeah.
Or it's raw gameplay or it's just the engine.
Little Battlefield going on there.
Yep.
It's pretty extensive, man. Where's John Malkovich, man?
Clowns based on people's nightmares.
They asked everybody at Sledgehammer, and they all said clowns.
What the heck?
Yeah, Call of Duty needs more of this. More just super zany stuff. Like stuff that'll only appear on that map. That's great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this... Stop. Stop moving around.
So too much movement or no movement? What do you want? Do you like the background that they're in, Dan?
I think the room they're in is fine, but...
And movement's okay, but too much?
It's distracting, yeah.
Okay.
It is a strange juxtaposition of like the doc style mixed with like the intense traditional Call of Duty trailer.
I think it's a little slow at this point. I'm done with this trailer. I'm ready to move on. So I like hearing from them, but I think we can hustle through this a little bit faster.
It's a pretty heavy breakdown for a DLC pack.
Yeah, like the weapon, like, don't hold that long on a weapon. You just show the weapon. It's good. Let me see what it looks like, see how it fires.
There's John Malkovich.
Yeah, man. So who else we got?
Ooh. What? Does this blow your bed out of the water from last year?
Yep. Bill Paxton.
Oh, you had me at Bill Paxton. I want to talk to
what the heck is going
James
on?
Kohler and Matt Blair, who put this up on the website, and ask why they picked Malkovich over Paxton.
But also, hey, trailer, like, show more Paxton.
There's Paxton right there for you.
Dibs on Paxton.
It is the most robust DLC offering to date. Brand new XO zombies, as well as 4 new maps, a new weapon, and a new weapon variant. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Havoc is available on Xbox Live on January 27th.
Yeah, I'm going to Xbox first, eh?
Oh,
Always.
yeah.
Always. They still got that deal
That's
locked.
right.
On it.
Yep.
I feel like they told you what everything was too many times. They came in, told you what everything was, then told you everything was one at a time, and then told you what everything was again.
I think one of the keys, we've talked about DLC expansion trailers a lot, Kyle. We're going to talk about more a lot, I imagine, as our careers go on.
Sure.
But one thing that I want to focus on that I think you have to do when you're putting together something like this is, like, not only get through it as fast as you possibly can, But when you have different categories, like you got your maps, and then you got your weapon, and then you get your zombies, and then you get your like not only the zombie mode with all of their abilities and stuff, but the cast that you want to mention. And you never want to, like, I felt at the point in this trailer where they switched to the zombie mode, it was clearly like, okay, now we're going to talk about zombies, as opposed to like, we're into zombies before I even realized we had moved on to another topic, you know? And I think that'll help kind of make it really feel like, wow, it's a huge, robust package, as opposed to like, how long is this? You know, just watching like, 3-4 minute trailer where it's like, okay, I'm good. I mean, I get the feeling almost this was for not necessarily an announcement of all the modes they were doing, but like an explanation and sell of the modes.
Yeah.
Like maybe, and I believe they might have announced all of these modes earlier, and then this is like they're really getting into explaining them and stuff. So then maybe it's hard to hit it for being a little longer, if it's for the fans and not necessarily for people that are like, this Call of Duty thing. Let me see if I want to get involved.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a sell. It feels, I mean, like Glenn Schofield's got his game down. He's just as much a host as he is a game developer at this point, where he starts off just like, here, let me tell you about what you're about to see right here.
He's like The Rock. They should give him a reality show. He's a very imposing individual.
But as a sales pitch, it is well done. I mean, basically my criteria for any DLC trailers, show us what's new, show us like why this is extra. That's I think how you sell a trailer for DLC, and they do. I mean, that is the whole point of this trailer. It's focused, laser focused on what is new, and I think that it succeeds for that reason.
One other test that I personally have for trailers is the infamous ramp, which every trailer has to have. Like you can put that behind anything: machine guns, tanks, helicopters, drums,
Digimon,
saxophone, Digimon, especially Digimon.
Sure.
And it's fun if you guys have ever just gone out there, look for those. And there's like whole CDs of them, just like different instruments and different pitches and stuff. And so it's always funny to be like, oh no, that one doesn't work. Let me put that one in. And whenever I watch a trailer and I hear that and I'm not feeling it, I always kind of get a little sad. Or I question, like, did I just fall out of line with this trailer? Am I not really, like, dug in? And I loved Advanced Warfare. I reviewed this game. Like, I would play the hell out of these maps if I had time. So I'm definitely the audience for this. I'm interested in this content. But all the times where it had those, and it had, because I was mentioning, it had to move on to all these different themes. So every one of those ended with, like, a big ramp up. And I don't know if I really felt all of those. So I don't know if I could put this in the 8 caliber. I think they should maybe have split these up. I don't know, maybe focus on these things separately, focus on the multiplayer maps in one video, and focus on, because I want to hear more about, Bill Paxton and Malkovich. I think they kind of like just touched on that, didn't really get into it. 7.6 from me.
I'll give it an 8.3. I think it is very focused. It made this DLC, this stupid little package, seem like a serious thing, and they handled it seriously. They respected you as like, you want to spend money. Thank you for being interested in spending money on this, and like, here's everything that's in it. Do you know what I mean? It's making the DLC seem like it has a higher value than just like a short little, just download this, we got some new maps. You know what I mean? Like, they're clearly taking it seriously. Thank you for taking it seriously. Here's everything you get.
I'll go a little on the lower side of 7.5. I think the main thing to me, and especially talking about the the movement of the camera, I think if you're gonna have a lot of quick cuts, then you need to have a quick trailer. You can't just like keep bombarding me with quick cuts, and it's like I'm just losing track of what's going on anymore.
And maybe that's why I didn't feel the ramp ups. Is just endurance wise, I'm like, I'm just kind of spent. I can't really like get into that. So there's only really like twice that you can do that with the trailer. You know, it's like if it's a movie trailer, get that first ramp of like, oh man, the heroes are in trouble, and then when it drops, then it's kind of like, okay, what are we gonna do? What's the plan? Like what do we have on our side? What are our options? And then you can do another ramp, and then you're done. But like maybe a little tease at the end, the foot falls in the Final Fantasy trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah, too many ramps, too many cooks. Did you score, Kyle?
I did.
So we're done here.
We're all done here.
Mission accomplished.
We've looped this enough.
Speaking of Call of Duty, a trailer that's actually better than this trailer, if you guys checked it out. Trailer for their 2015 championship, the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Championship, which I'm assuming they've had COD championships for like a decade now? Like, how long have those been going on?
I don't know how long they've been going on, but those were obviously footage from last year or whatever.
I don't remember championship trailers for COD. It's probably because we've only been doing Let's All Go to the trailers for a year, so like these probably just slipped through the cracks. But it's got me pumped. I really felt this trailer. I really got excited.
Yeah, I probably am not going to watch this, but I got excited watching the trailer for it.
And just esports in general, it's like, when things get trailers, they've arrived. Like when something is like, oh, wow, they got a trailer. Yes, okay, like that's officially a thing.
Yeah.
And, obviously, I'm no stranger to seeing quick cuts of guys like, the glitter falling and them holding the trophy and cheering and yelling at each other and like, close-ups of the headset and the, close-up of the hands on the keyboards clicking StarCraft 2 players. But just something about this, like you were saying, the production value. Like you actually said, over too much production value on the shots and interview. I thought this was just enough. I thought it was really great compared to the Smite Esports Season 2 trailer. Had no audio design. They just picked a track, threw it in, and put a bunch of cuts on it. And the cuts were great. It had a lot of energy. But I invite you guys to check out the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare 2015 Championship trailer and then watch Smite and notice like how less energy Smite has, because it has no sound design. That you don't hear what they're saying. Like you don't hear them screaming at each other, and like go get there, go defend that, and like that's just great. Like to hear that stuff and really feel like you're there. Hear the crowd cheering.
Hear Justine set it up. You need some Justine.
Hear quotes. You definitely need some Justine to give it legitimacy.
Yep.
Evolve got an intro cinematic, which I guess intro cinematic meaning that's you boot up the game and that's what you get. And I guess it's to be expected that we wouldn't like learn something fancy from the opening of Evolve. The opening of Evolve would probably be very indicative of them. They'd face off against Goliath. He's the first guy that they introduced. These are the hunters we're familiar with. They fight him. They get a little skirmish title. But like I don't know. I felt it was kind of meh.
I think we need a name for this kind of trailer. That is a CG trailer that sort of glorifies what the game plays like. We see a lot of MOBAs doing this kind of trailer.
Sure.
Even Smite later on.
Smite, we can just jump to that now. Smite had a cinematic trailer where you see that. Actually, it was better than some of the earlier cinematic efforts we've seen from Smite that were
Smite
like very
stepped their
brief.
game up for sure.
I felt like Smite kind of changed their tone or something. Like if it's like almost too dark and gritty, like because it's not right. It's a very brightly colorful game.
Well, it's funny because they're all pissed, and it's like the gods battling each other. So you imagine there's like a little bit of gravitas to that, where it's just like, well, we're gods, let's do our thing. But like, no, they got grudges. Those gods, they don't want to just take down their opponents; they want to rub it in. And the one issue that I have with Smite is that you don't see them using their abilities a lot. They don't do things where I'm like, oh, I bet that's an ability. There's like one point where a guy actually like smashes another guy's head against a rock, and it's like, I bet you can't do that in a MOBA.
Right.
Like that doesn't seem like there's a lot of that contextual like. God of War, Mortal Kombat finisher moves.
But
it's a little weird to put in the trailer.
Back to Evolve for a sec.
Yeah.
Basically, they're using their powers from the game, and none of it is interesting.
Because we've seen it before.
They're like taking little pot shots at the guy, and they're like tying him down with their tethers, and it's just like none of this stuff looks interesting.
And I think that's like you were saying earlier. It's like a type of trailer where it just kind of encapsulates like this is what the game is. And to me, that loses a lot of steam if it's like I've seen this. And so it's pretty that it's in CG, but. Actually, at this point in your advertising, seeing the gameplay gets me way more excited than any kind of CG video. I've cut you off like 5 times, Blood.
What's weird to me with Evolve is that in this intro, the monster is very much a monster. The monster is very much an animal. Whereas, like, in the game, because it's another player, like, the monster is just as intelligent as everybody else. He's not just hanging out, eating, and like, oh, these guys showed up. It's like, his ship shows up, he's on the run. He's like trying to get ready and fight back and do whatever he can, to wipe these dudes out. Whereas this is just like a big dumb animal.
Well, and it's like,
which is weird, it's like it makes sense in terms of this CG trailer, but then when you like compare it to how the game plays out, it doesn't really play out.
And their reaction is also ridiculous because Goliath like stands up in front of them. They all kind of stare him down, and it's like, come on, guys, get to you're here for a reason. Let's go. I would have liked a little more context because there actually is kind of a plot. Like you're not just there to see like, let's see who can bag him first, and then we'll mount it on our wall when we get back. Like they're evacuating the planet. Like this is actually a biological incident that's happening on this planet where like these monsters are pissed that humans are there, and so it's like these guys are stepping in to alleviate the problem, and like I don't know, a little VO setting that up, or a little more story or something beyond just like, whoa, look at this fight. And again, it's like I've played this thing that I'm watching, and so yeah, that to me lessens the impact. Kalimba made Kyle laugh out loud.
Yeah.
I hear Kyle laugh out loud, and I lean over, and I see two guys in red and blue bodysuits rolling over each other.
Like they were at that point, they were dangling the sausages, and at that, like, the sausages was like too much. It's like, you brought this on to be overtly sexual.
Do you think they got sausages out of the fridge at the shooting place, or
No,
do you
somebody
think,
brought
do you,
those.
Do you think that morning it was like, okay, do you have the suits? Yeah. Do you got the sausages? Yeah, I got sausages.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
This will be funny. We bring in the sausages now. Yeah, that was what that was.
It was yeah. It definitely is where the like trailer jumped the shark or whatever. Because before that, it was like, oh, this is kind of cute and funny, and it's like you know, show like kind of what the game's about and the co-op aspect of it. But yeah, but then it's just like, okay, we're just gonna get weird now.
Yeah.
We're just gonna be super weird for no good reason. None of this has to do with anything. Yeah.
Is it wrong that I picture Ryan Stevens loving this trailer?
I'm sure you would.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
We had a trailer for a game I hadn't heard of before, the debut of Obey, in which you're a giant turret slaughtering rabbits that are trying to get to the center.
Well, it looked like there's a rabbit at the top of the turret.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of one of the multiplayer
Evolve?
modes in Conquer back on 64, where you had to storm the beach, and there were like 3 different avenues that you could take, and then the teddy bears were like up in a tower, and they like one of the things you could use was a Gatling gun. And when I would play with friends, it was like, okay, nobody use the Gatling gun because there's no way that any of us can survive, because it's like you're obviously going to take all of us out. But I love the moment of the rabbit getting caught, and then the turret like pauses, and you're like, oh, the turret's not going to kill him, and then just drops 10,000 bullets on him. It cracked me up. Did you find it funny? You like that? Did it warm your heart, Kyle?
I think it was a little. It wasn't nailing its vibe that it was trying to get.
Okay.
I don't think it ended. I don't know. I'm not into that. I'm not into Obey.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was very clear exactly, you know, like the way it was going back and forth. It was, you know, I wasn't entirely sure what was going on. You know, like I could piece it together, but it didn't feel very clear to me.
In the future, would you like me to omit trailers of this caliber from Let's All Go?
Absolutely not.
Okay, no, I
'Cause
can
now I
still
know
bring
what
them in.
Obey is, yeah.
Oh, okay, good,
Yeah.
good. And finally, Stalker Apocalypse had a history trailer, somewhat akin to the retrospectives that we've made in the past, where they went through and.
I wouldn't say it was gonna what?
I mean,
It was like, hey guys, look
style.
how cool we are. Will you hire us for something?
Definitely a very desperate tone. Definitely talking it up like no one in the world doesn't think that Stalker is the most amazing thing that's ever happened to Russian video games. Yeah, very interesting vibe. Just kind of the VO and I mean, you know, the guy reading it does an okay job. Maybe they could have brought in somebody better, but obviously it's somebody that's on the development staff. They just kind of like Rochambeau, just kind of like, okay, who's going to read it? But yeah, it's just a lot of desperation that I think maybe might something that you want to, you know, look for and maybe bring somebody else in to listen to be like,
I mean,
does this
yeah,
sound
that's
off?
the thing. Here's the thing: if you have to spend like half of your video explaining what your games were, you cannot then compare them to Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. You cannot say that this is kind of on the same caliber, guys. And like,
I once saw somebody dress up as a character from Stalker, official Star Wars status. Cosplay confirmed.
But by the way,
I mean, it does have a following.
Star Wars
I like
synonymous.
it genuinely has a following and a lot of fans that are really into it. But there's something you're not at that level.
but like show it. Show your cosplay fans. Don't just show gameplay from your game.
Good point. There was a lot of things that they showed, and they were just kind of looking at old footage of Stalker.
Of the game, yeah, like prove it. Show us the convention. Show us the people who are playing it in real life.
Also
those
love
are
the
interesting.
text that's like, we're showing Stalker, please don't sue us. Like, we're only showing it just to talk about how cool we are. We're not selling the game. Don't freak out. Trailer of the week, and which I want to point out, as far as we're concerned, is the best trailer of 2015.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It's our
Okay.
first trailer of the week of the year.
All the future trailers have to knock this one down.
I would vote for Mortal Kombat.
Me too.
I think it was better than Final Fantasy 15. I saw a lot of new stuff. I like the energy of it. Obviously, I think between the two, I would probably end up playing Final Fantasy 15, but just considering just the trailers,
That's a good trailer.
that would be my pick, Mr. Blood.
Yeah, I go with that too. I mean, I'm not super strong on anything, but that's the best one, I suppose.
Not a super strong start to the new year, but we are here. It is Let's All Go to the Trailers, the beginning of Season 2. Thank you guys so much for hanging around. Thank you so much for listening, and I promise you, we will be back next week.
Brandon,
What?
may I talk about one thing that makes me angry about the Smite trailer?
Okay.
So, this trailer has
Don't go anywhere, everybody.
the super sexy Egyptian goddess. Cool.
Right.
That she's fighting on her own, she's got her bow and arrows, she's fighting the wolf. She was about to die to the wolf when Thor's hammer saves her. And then she's on the ground, she smiles like, "Thank you, Thor. Thanks, big white man, for saving me." She never appears again for the rest of the trailer. Then an evil Asian god fights the white god, and one is clearly bad. One's clearly the bad guy. And so to me, all these characters should be on the same level of goodness, badness. It's like, oh, we're about to root for Thor, the good guy. I'm being a little PC D-bag, but this trailer does offend me that Thor is the only good guy. He saved the attractive woman, and everyone else are bad guys.
Yeah, why are werewolves bad?
Yeah.
I want to
Isn't that
play
just
the
a
wolf
werewolf?
guy.
It's a werewolf with lava dripping out of its mouth.
Yeah.
It's a good point, Kyle.
I got worked up.
A little late. Maybe be a little more timely with those, and we'll have ourselves a show. Thanks, everybody.